Good afternoon, children. Today we will complete the third part of the story. This is Jody's fawn. Students, yesterday we have completed part of first and second of this story, and as you know very well that your exam will start next week, and in this purpose we have to given the instructions that we have to revise the syllabus. We have already completed the syllabus of UT 3rd in our offline classes in the month of December, and we also revise it. Now, in your online classes, your syllabus of UT 3rd will also be revised. And in this revision task, we are going to revise the first chapter of your syllabus. This is Jody's Fawn. And students, you know very well that it is written by M.K. Rawlings, and it is the story of a teenager boy, and who was very innocent, and the chapter is also remarkable for the feelings of a child towards an orphan fawn. In the background of the story, as I introduced you, that Jody's father, Penny, was stung by a rattlesnake, and for this advance he killed a dog, and by its heart and liver he prepared the antidote, and on the behalf of the life of this dog he saved his life. But in all this action, the fawn of the doe became orphan. Now nobody was thinking about this fawn, but it was the only boy in the house, that it was Jody who thought about the fawn. He was sympathized with this little creature, that how will he pass his life without his mother. So such type of feelings came to his heart, and he thought that he will bring this fawn to his home, and they will bring him up. But it was a question that how they will succeed without the permission of his parents. How can he go to the forest in search of this fawn, and how he can bring it? First he went to his father for the permission, and told him that it will be ungratefulness towards that doe if we have left this orphan fawn without any help, if we are not careful about it. At once his father remembered that how he had killed the doe to save his life, and on the behalf of the life of the doe he saved himself. And it was a problem with him that he was sympathized with the doe and its fawn, but he told Jody that how he had to go in the forest, and he was not only responsible for it, many other persons, and he has also explained him that he have to take the permission of his mother also about this matter, because then Jody said that he will ready to give up his milk, and he was ready to give his milk, the part of his milk, to this fawn. Then his father agreed, but he said that before going to the forest, he had to take the permission of his mother also. So, in this reference, he at once went to his mother and asked for the permission. Then his mother permitted him only on one term and condition: if he is ready to give up the part of his milk. And Jody said that after 1 or 2 months, this fawn will use to take the corns and leaves, and after it, they have not to use the extra milk. Now Jody took the help of mill wheel. He ride on his horse with him, and very fast they went to the forest. Here Jody did not want that Millville should go with him in the forest in search of the fawn, because there were two reasons about it. I have many times explained you that he did not want to share the emotions, that if he not succeeded to search the fawn, and secondly, he also do not want to share his joyful feelings if he was succeeded to search the fawn. So in this way, he believed Melville that it was not good to him, that we have to follow him, and he decided that he will go himself alone in the search of this fawn. So he alone went to that place where his father was. His father killed a doe and left this fawn alone here. But he was trying to searching this fawn with the help of the footprints. But it was a shocking for him that the night it was raining. It had rained at night, so the footprints were raised. So he had not any help. Now, this is the story of part second, and today we will start the story of part third. Now, Jody was searching the fawn, and what he will do, then you will come to know about it. Moment directly in front of him startled him that he tumbled backward. The fawn lifted its face to him. Now at last he succeeded to search the fawn. It turned its head with a wide, wondering motion and shook his throat with the stare of its liquid eyes. It was quivering. It was quivering. It made no effort to rise or run. But when Jody saw the fawn, it did not make effort to rise or run. Jody could not trust himself to move. Now Jody could not could not trust his luck, that how easily he can get the fawn. So he was so he whispered, "It is me." Now again he whispered to himself that it was he who succeeded to search the fawn. The fawn lifted its nose, scenting him. Now the fawn was scenting him. He reached out one hand and laid it on the soft neck, and he put it in the soft neck. The touch made him delirious. It made him delirious. He removed forward of all four until he was close beside it. He put his arm around his body. Now Jody put his arms around its body. A light convulsion passed over its body. It did not stir. And now, very successfully, he took the fawn in his arms. Now, it was a question that what he will do now, because he was also a young boy, and he bring how he was going to bring this fawn on the road, and nobody was here for his help. He stalked its side as gently as though the fawn were a china deer. उसको बहुत आसानी से पकड़ता है. Fawn where was a china deer and he might break it, and he took the fawn so softly that it was so tender for him that he did not want to break it. Its skin was very soft. The skin of the fawn was very soft. उसकी जो त्वचा जो थी वो बहुत मुलायम थी. It was sleek and clean and had a sweet scent of grass. और उसकी जो स्किन थी उससे ग्रास की सेंट आ रही थी. He rose slowly, धीरे से उठता है, and lifted the fawn from the ground. उसको गोद में उठा लेता है जमीन से. Its legs hung limply and its leg hung लटक जाते हैं limply. They were surprisingly long, and he had a hoist the fawn as high as possible under his arms. उसके जो पैर थे वो बहुत लॉन्ग थे, लंबे थे, and he was surprising. वो उतना ऊंचा उठाता है फॉन को, उस हिरन के बच्चे को, जितना कि वह उठा सकता था. Hoist the fawn as high as possible under his arms. He was afraid that it might kick and bleat at sight and smell of its mother. It was a fear in his mind that he will miss the scent of his mother. His skirts and cleaning the pushed his way into the thicket. Because he was passing through the thicket to the thick shrubs, it was difficult to fight through with his burden. Now it was a difficult way, a difficult task for such a young boy like Jody, that with the in the arm of the in his arms he had the fawn, and how he can move in the such thick forest. The fawn's leg caught in the bushes. उसके जो पैर थे वो झाड़ियों में फंस जाते थे. And he could not lift his own with freedom. और पूरी फ्रीडम के साथ वह नहीं चल पा रहा था. He tried to shield its face from wrinkling vines. और जो कटीली झाड़ियाँ थीं उनसे अपने फेस को भी उसे बचाना था. Its head bobbed with his stride. His heart thumped with the marvel of its acceptance to him. He reached the trail and walked as fast as he could until he came to the intersection with the road home. He struggled in the thick forest with the shrubs and the bushes, and at last, with this hard work, at last he succeeded to come to on that road which was joined to his home. He stopped to rest and set down fawn on its dangling legs. वो वहीं fawn को छोड़ देता है. Now he was taking a rest for some time. He babbed on, then it looked at him and bleated. He said, enchanced, I will carry you after I get my breath. At once, because he was also fed up with its weight. Jody was also a very young boy, and it was it was not an easy task to walk in the forest with the fawn in his arms. He had enchanted, I will carry you after I get my breath. वो कहता है थोड़ा मैं सांस ले लूँ, थोड़ा रेस्ट कर लूँ, and after it I will take you. उसके बाद मैं तुम्हें आगे ले चलूँगा. He remembered his father, अपने फादर को याद करता है, saying that a fawn would follow if it had first been carried. अगर एक हिरन को बच्चे को जो है वो अगर तुम्हारी सेंट लेगा तो एंड ही विल फॉलो यू, थोड़ी देर उसको चलाना पड़ता है, देन ही विल फॉलो यू इफ इट हैड बीन कैरीड। ही स्टार्टेड अवे स्लोली, धीरे धीरे वो चलना शुरू करता है। द फॉन स्टेयर्ड आफ्टर हिम एट वंस, फॉर सम टाइम द फॉन स्टेयर्ड आफ्टर हिम, ही कैम बैक टू इट, वो फिर पीछे जाता है, एंड स्टॉक्ड इट एंड वॉकड अवे अगेन, और फिर आगे चल देता है। इट लुक टुक अ फ्यू बॉबलिंग स्टेप्स टुवार्ड्स हिम, अब वो बच्चा जो फॉन है छोटे छोटे कदम उसकी तरफ रखता है, एंड क्राइड पाइटियसली, फिर आवाज़ कर लगाता है, उसके लिए चिल्लाता है। It was willing to follow him. Now the fawn was to follow him. He belonged to him because now he had get the scent of Jody's body. It was his own. He was light-headed with his joy. Now Jody was very happy that the fawn was following him. He wanted to fondle it, to run and romp with it, to call it to come to him. Now Jody was calling the fawn that he had to come to him. He dared not to alarm it. He picked up and carried in front of his over his two arms. Sometimes the fawn was following him, and on some way he has carried it in his arms. It seemed to him that he walked without effort. Now, after some time, the fawn has started to following him without any effort. His arms began to itchy, and he was forced to stop again. Now, when there was an itchy in his arms, now he was forced that he have to stop for some time to take a rest. When he walked on, the fawn followed him at once, and once again Jody started walking, and the fawn was following him. And the fawn was following him, followed at him. He allowed it walked a little distance. For little distance, Jody again started walking. Then he picked it up again, and he again picked it up. Distance, home was nothing. There was no more distance of home. He could have walked all day and to night, carrying it and was to follow. He was wet with sweat. Now the Jody was wet with sweat. उसे पसीना आ जाता है. What a little breeze blew through the June morning. It was the morning June cooling him. The sky was as clear as spring water, and the sky was as clear as the spring water in the blue china cup. He came to the clearing. It was fresh and green after the night's rain. He fumbled with the latch and was finally obliged to set down the fawn to manage it. And at last he succeeded to manage the fawn. Then he had an idea. Then there was an idea in his mind. He would walk into the house. At once he was succeeded to bring the fawn to the house. He bought walk into the house. वो घर में जाता है, into Penny's bedroom, अपने फादर के बेडरूम में जाता है, with the fawn walking behind, और fawn जो है, जो बच्चा है हिरन का, उसके पीछे जा रहा है him. But at the steps, कुछ steps चलता है, the fawn walked and refused to climb then. वो सीढ़ी नहीं चढ़ पा रहा है. The fawn was unable to pass the stairs. To climb the stairs, he picked it up and went to the father. He again picked the fawn and went to his father. Penny lay with closed eyes. His father was taking a rest with closed eyes. Then Jody called, Pa, father, look it. Penny turned his head. At once Penny turned his head. Jody stood beside him. Jody वहीं रुक जाता है. The fawn clutched hard against him. It seemed to Penny that the boy's eyes were as bright as the fawn's. Now, Penny at once saw the brightness of joy in the eyes of his son, and he compares here that the eyes of Jody were as bright as the fawn's. He said, "I am glad you find him." Now Jody said that I am very glad that you have find at last you have find the fawn. Jody then went to the kitchen. Jody अब किचन में जाता है. The fawn bowled after him. Fawn उसके पीछे ही जाता है. A pan of morning milk stood in the kitchen. एक पैन में जो है वो दूध लाता है. Safe, the cream had risen on it. उसमें क्रीम आ गई थी. He skimmed the cream. क्रीम उसकी उतारता है into the jug. He poured milk into a small gourd. एक छोटे से कटोरे में जो है वह दूध लेता है. He held it out of the fawn. और लाकर उसे fawn के सामने रख देता है. He wetted it suddenly, smelling the milk. वो उसकी स्मेल लेता है. He saved it precariously from spilling over the floor. उसको उस पर गिरा देता है. It could make nothing on the milk on the gourd. फिर भी उसका जो दूध है ख़त्म नहीं होता है. He dipped his finger in the milk. Then Jody had tried to help the fawn in drinking the milk. He dipped his finger, अपनी उंगली जो है उसमें डालता है दूध में, in the milk, and thrust them into the fawn's soft wet mouth. और उसके मुंह में अपनी उंगली रख देता है. It stuck greedily. वो उसको उंगली को चूसता है बड़ी आसानी से. When he withdraw them, जो उसे निकाल लेता है, it bleated frantically and wattled him. He dipped his finger again, and as the fawn sucked, और धीरे धीरे fawn जो है दूध पीना शुरू कर देता है. He lowered them slowly into the milk. The fawn blew, and at last he succeeded. He sucked and snored. It stamped his milk, small hoops, impatiently. As long as he held his fingers below the level of the milk, the fawn was content. Now the fawn has started to drink the milk. It closes its eyes dreamily. अपनी आंखें बंद कर लेता है. It was ecstasy to feel its tongue against the hand. Its small tail flagged back and forth. At last of the milk vanished in the swirl. और at last जो है वो दूध वहाँ से गायब हो जाता है. At last the fawn was trained that how to drink the milk. The student, this is the whole summary of a story, and here I am going to close the story, and for revision I will send you 4 questions today, and you have to revise them. Now, on the behalf of his hard struggle, Jody succeeded to save the life of the fawn, and he had started also to giving him the milk. This is the story. This is the sympathetic feelings of a child towards an orphan fawn. Thus he succeeded to save the life of the fawn. Now here is the end of this story, and next term we will again revise the next chapter. Okay students, goodbye.